Here's 5 of comicbookmovie.com's top 10 things you should know about the Punisher before checking out the new Netflix series. Number 5. The Punisher crossed over with Archie? This is easily one of the oddest crossovers in the Marvel Universe. In the comic, the Punisher is hunting Red, a no-good drug dealer, and instead of finding him, he finds Archie, who happens to look a lot like Red. So, what happens? Poor Archie is held at gunpoint until the Punisher realizes that he isn't Red after all. Once the mix-up is taken care of, the two team up to save Veronica from Red. Number 4. He was originally a Spider-Man villain. The Punisher made his violent debut in The Amazing Spider-Man number 129. As the story unfolds, the Punisher is after Spider-Man because the Jackal made him believe that Spider-Man murdered the Punisher's gun supplier. You just don't mess with a man's guns. Of course, as the story unfolds, the Punisher realizes he's been duped by the Jackal, and the Jackal actually killed his gun supplier. Frank then leaves Spider-Man alone to hunt down the Jackal and exact justice upon him. Number 3. Frankencastle. In the Dark Reign storyline, Frank Castle goes up against Wolverine's estranged son, Daken. The fight doesn't go well, and Frank ends up being dismembered by Wolverine's son. After his defeat, Morbius and the Man-Thing reconstruct Frank Castle into the Frankencastle. Frankencastle then works with other monstrosities for a time, but he's later healed and brought back to normal in his bad guy killing self. Number 2. There are 2 origins for the iconic skull logo. One day in Vietnam, Frank is taken prisoner after hunting a sniper named the Monkey, whose talents rivaled Frank's own. Of course, the Punisher escapes, but not before painting a skull on the prisoner's chest as a warning to the Monkey. He later defeats him and returns home and uses the skull symbol to remind his enemies of what's going to happen to them if they cross his path. In Punisher Max, the skull idea comes to Frank in a haunting dream. He puts the dream to use when he sprays the skull on his chest to distract his foes into shooting it rather than his face. Which one's better? You decide. Number 1. The Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. What could Frank Castle possibly do against Earth's mightiest heroes? One famous version has Frank Castle taking on the entire Marvel Universe. Spoiler alert, the Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. Gee, I wonder what happens in that comic. Well, in this version, Frank's family is killed in a skirmish between the Avengers and the X-Men. Filled with rage and thirst for justice, he begins to kill every last hero and villain. His bloodlust for justice ends when he kills his good friend, Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. And there you have it, 5 of our top 10 things you should know about the Punisher before checking out the new series on Netflix. If you'd like to check out the full 10 items that you should know about the Punisher, check out our link below or head over to comicbookmovie.com. And you'll have to click